Yeah, but the damn Giants taking an L right now too. But
Yeah, big time now.
can't be like the
I
Bears.
mean, they came out the gate killing them too. Pump
Hey,
returns, and it was whacking Dart too. They hit him on that
well,
sideline.
yo,
He
them
tried
boys
to
is
slide, they whacked him.
yeah, them boys is hitting out there. Pause. They tore that wide
Yeah,
receiver
gotta
up
pause
too.
that. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
Oh
thought
yeah,
it
yeah. I
was,
saw that. I saw that tight end, I think,
yeah,
on the
yeah,
sideline.
yeah.
Yeah, no, they hitting out there, man. Rabel got them boys playing hard.
Hey man,
His
it's
his Titan
crazy.
teams used to play like that,
It's crazy
So
how a coach can change the whole culture, and because they was one of the worst teams, but now they on top. That's kind of
yeah,
crazy.
yeah. A coach can change the whole, thing. That's why they got that whole thing with Tomlin right now. They say they need a new voice out there in Pittsburgh.
Yes, that's crazy, man. Come on now. I don't agree with that at all.
No,
No,
you
man.
think he should stay?
Well, the thing is that if he wants to leave for get some fresh air himself, that's fine. I have no issue with that. But the fact that he overachieves every year. Those teams are not great. A new coach ain't gonna make those teams any better. You know what I mean? They kind of horrible, and he gets them to the playoff every year. And now they need
They ain't win a playoff game since what 2016 or something like that.
yeah, because they're terrible.
I never knew. I never thought the Pittsburgh teams was terrible.
They was terrible against the team that they were playing in the first round.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that like I guess when you saying they was like overachieving, I
Yeah,
never looked at those. He's always had a pretty good defense. I think what he didn't have in recent years since Ben left was a quarterback.
but
Since big,
definitely.
but I mean, we all ain't gonna have good quarterbacks. I'm a Bears fan, I know that.
Well,
So
I say that because the beginning of the season, always before the season starts, they always project them as one of the lowest teams to get into the playoffs. They always at the end, like an 8-8 or just barely making it. Most of the time they project them not making the playoffs at all. So he still makes the playoff.
I just think that Pittsburgh's never been one of those teams. They ain't like the Titans or how like like how Detroit used to be back in the day. Like they always got decent pieces, and I think Tomlin elevates them. He's a good coach. He's always elevated his teams. So when he'll get them, a little bit over the hump or something like that. Or there's been some times where they wasn't projected to make the playoffs, and he got the most out of them. He, at the, it come a point where you got look at the Knicks, and Thibodeau.
Yeah.
This is a man who took these guys to the conference final, took them to consecutive playoff bursts, and we ain't had nothing like that in years. They got to change. Sometimes we just need something just to put them over the top. But he's gonna get mad. He's gonna get mad
He's
jobs
gonna get a job.
regardless.
But I
So
can tell
he'll
you
be
one
all right.
thing.
Maybe he needed to, but I mean, it is what it is. I guess all I'm saying is I don't think it'd be disrespect if they parted ways. Maybe make it look like it was like mutual and part ways.
Do
Oh
a
man,
power.
we done dove all in this thing right here, man. We
Yeah.
gotta start this pod up, man.
Yeah, man.
What
I can
number
tell
we
you,
on?
we about to start this up, man. I think this is episode 11.
Okay,
Everybody, welcome again. This is Off the Parkway podcast. Me and Big Sue today, we here to give y'all
off the P way.
you know what I'm saying? How's everything going, Sue?
Man, everything good, man. Coming off that, we was getting into that football talk. Obviously, we always kind of start off with that, with some good sports talk.
Oh
But
yeah.
we're coming off that Thanksgiving, pretty much the Thanksgiving block of football games where you had the Thanksgiving games, you had the Black Friday games, and you had, Sunday games. And today you have, and obviously, the Monday night game. So there's been a lot of action, a lot of stuff going on. And yeah, man, it's been a pretty decent weekend. I've been busy myself. I actually worked through the holidays. My kids' sports started up this weekend as well. So both my kids had games all weekend, so I was pretty busy.
Must be nice on that one too, because well, there's no sports for my son yet, so I'm still waiting for the.
So it might not be some nice because it's a lot. Trust me, because I'm trying to balance that and work. That'd be a lot, man.
Well, I want him to. I want him to get into the sport because he missed. He took a break after
Right.
he tried wrestling. He didn't really like it, but he did finish out the season.
Hmm.
So he's been really doing nothing. Just been doing his little gaming stuff and stuff like that. I want him to get more a little bit more active. So hopefully, what I mean, we can get him out there and do something. The winter sports wasn't his thing. He didn't want to do basketball. So I was like, I understand that. So hopefully the next round of sports he can get into something. But
Hmm.
I need him more active. What I mean,
Right.
I'm
Right.
used to having him in something. So this break was
Hmm.
cool, but what I mean, it's time, man. He got to figure out something, yo. You got to keep these kids moving.
Got to. Got to, especially boys, man. I think. I mean, all kids, boys and girls, but I just think boys, man. They gotta be active, and they don't have to. And being active doesn't mean they have to be great.
Yeah,
They gotta
no,
be doing
got to
something.
be out
You
there.
know, there's so much you can get from sports, team sports, individual sports too. But
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it just works on so much. So I'm
But
a
that
big
just goes
advocate for
to the
that.
fact that kids these days, they just don't really want to play anymore like we did growing up. You know what I mean? All the time. We wanted to play. We wanted to be outside. We wanted to, hey, man, a little bit of Woolsies, man, a little bit of prison ball. Man, I'd
A
be out there.
little
A little bit
21, a little bit of
yeah,
throw up, a little like whatever. And all these games we talk about in different regions, people call them different things, but they're the
oh, yeah,
same.
yeah, yeah, definitely.
But yeah, man. No, that don't exist no more. I mean, we created games, we made up games as we went along back in the day, man.
A bit of freeze tag.
Freeze tag, regular tag, red light, green light, hide and go seek. My personal favorite, catch a girl, get a girl. But that'd get some people in some trouble nowadays. But back then,
I took an L on that.
that's hey man, that's how you found out if a girl liked you if she let you catch her, man.
That's when she just do some dirt in my face and kept moving. But anyway, that's another story for another
Okay,
day.
you ruined a serious flashback, but go on.
It was a serious flashback. It was a real flashback. But anyway, you know what I mean. But definitely get these kids going. But Thanksgiving was just around the corner. You know what I mean. Hey, to me, Thanksgiving ain't feel like Thanksgiving. You know what I mean? I don't know about you, but I ain't feel like doing nothing. Maybe it's from the working hard and balancing the kids' life and all that stuff too. Man, I just felt like Thanksgiving was a day just to relax. I didn't
Mm-hmm.
want to do anything, yo. To this Thanksgiving was really about getting a plate and go to me.
Mm-hmm.
I was satisfied with that.
Mm-hmm.
Grab a plate and go because I really wasn't into it at all. And it felt like nobody was doing nothing.
Mm. I mean, I guess it differs, like it depends on where you're at in life, how people around you are getting along or whatever have you, whatever the situation may be. I mean, with me, it was actually good. I hosted. Well, when I say I hosted, the wife hosted Thanksgiving this year, and
Black,
my family came up to the house,
black,
and what's that?
black excellent.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
they came to the house, but the wifey tends to kind of go overboard a little bit when we got company going over. Everything got to be perfect. So she was busy. So it was things that we had to do in preparation for it. But it turned out really nice. Our Dukes, Lynn's, everybody that came up, they seemed to enjoy themselves, enjoy the food.
did my boy come there? My friend?
No, 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 no. It was just pretty much my side, my side.
Yeah,
Uh,
I was about to say he about to make it hot.
yeah. No, it was just my side, whatever.
My friend, my friend.
So, yeah, nah. So it was cool, man. And like Thanksgiving for me is probably my favorite holiday because that's the holiday that my family is most involved in and participates and active in. Is It's Thanksgiving, and it's always been like that traditionally growing up and all that because all the other holidays we don't get into. But this, so Thanksgiving is always pretty cool for me. And I didn't have to travel. I didn't have to go. I didn't have to go up and down the Parkway to get to where I was going. Man, I was able to stay home, stay at home base. Just all we had to do was clean up. And that was it, man. But Thanksgiving is usually cool, man.
Yeah, it usually is, you know what I mean? But as people get older and it seems like traditions are getting broken. So for me, you know what I mean, it seems like, if I'm not traveling, then it's just not going to be the same.
Mm.
So maybe next year I can try to bring it back. But I can tell you this much this year. I mean, I ain't had no yams. I ain't had no collard greens, man. I was like, come on, man. I'm dying right
See, but it's interesting you said like sometimes as you get older, traditions get broken or things get changed. But I mean, I think it's just us. It's up to us as the adults,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
with
yeah.
it
You're right.
because as we grow up, whether it's our parents or whoever's the head of the family, it could be the grandmothers or it could be your aunt, whoever, who will always keep things tight. As time go on, maybe they pass on, or maybe things just people move away, and it's far between things, and that's how these things kind of deteriorate. But as we grow up and we have our own families, then we got to create all these different rituals. We got to create these routines and create new traditions. And it's interesting, like just like on the subject, because after no matter where we actually celebrate Thanksgiving, whether we go to somebody's house or whatever, we always kind of the next day have our own dinner at the house, and my kids and the wife, and we just talk about things that we're thankful for and just trying to keep up with that tradition. And now, our kids getting older, so they kind of now they start doing, oh, why we still got to do this? And it's just
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
no, we're doing it. We're doing it because this is something we've been doing forever. And just because you got an attitude about it, maybe we're gonna stop. You're gonna appreciate it when you get older. When you start your
Yeah,
own
yeah.
family, you're gonna create your own traditions. You know what I mean? You just gotta be. You just don't. I think don't allow yourself to let that fatigue set in. It's just another day. Yeah, make some of these days important. Make some of these days meaningful. And whether it's a birthday, whether it's a holiday, maybe it's Christmas. Maybe Christmas is the biggest thing for you. You know what I mean? Maybe it's 4th of July. No matter what it is, just create those routines, rituals for your own family, and celebrate them
And
things. That's
that,
my
that was
thought on it.
key. That was key what you said about things fall apart as you get older with the families and stuff like that. Because I know for me, what I mean, my mom, she was the glue that kept everyone together when it comes down to family events. And when she passed, it just wasn't the same. You know what I mean?
Right,
It
right, right.
wasn't,
It's my
you
girl.
know, what I mean, everybody used to gravitate to, her plans on getting everything together. And now it's just not the same anymore. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
even the communication is really not the same.
yeah.
You know what I mean? So it is what it is. Like you said, it's up to us to keep it going. So maybe next year, you know what I mean? I, get out my little funk, my Thanksgiving funk, and
Mm.
make it happen. You know what I mean? But it's kind of tough, but it is what it
I
is.
can imagine.
Yeah,
I can imagine, man. It's a blessing when the older folks is still around,
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
still able to carry these things because it's different for everybody, man. So I agree. I agree. Now my dog,
Yeah.
he like I'm crazy. Like nigga, you supposed nigga, why you down here right now, nigga? This is my bed. This is my space. And you in here talking. Shit is hot right now because
He's
he usually down here by himself at this point.
about to give you curfew. He's like, yeah, you got to
Man,
go.
he looking at me crazy right now, like nigga, I'm trying to sleep. Oh man,
But definitely, man, we can get back to these football topics, man.
yeah, man. It started off on Thanksgiving. You had the Thanksgiving game. You had the Green Bay and Detroit game, and then you had the Dallas and Kansas City game.
Yeah.
And Dallas looking good, man. They looking good.
Right now they are. Yeah, they
They
are.
looking good, and I can't say I'm too
You
happy
a
about
believer?
that, huh?
You a believer?
Yes, but it comes with a big but because they not in control of their own destiny.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
So they need a lot to happen for them to do it. Now they got to win out, and they got to hope that some other teams catch some L's along the way. So they still in the hunt. They still in there. They look good. They look good. Dak
But
looks good.
those
Pickens,
Philly L's helped them.
yeah, Pickens look good. When they got Quentin Williams in that middle to solidify that line and strengthen that, they look solid. So I don't want to be. I wouldn't want to be a top seed and then have to go and deal with that. While they're coming in, while they rolling in the playoffs hot the way they are. So I wouldn't want to deal with that. But they need a lot to happen. I think they can make it happen. But if they
I'm
don't
not a
make it, it
believer.
ain't gonna be. If they don't make it from here on out, I don't think it's gonna be because of them. It's just gonna be because something else happened and knocked them out. Because I think they're on a roll right now.
Yeah, I got to look at their schedule. I'm not a believer though. You know what I
Mm.
mean? I'm gonna check out their schedule to see what they got left. Cowboys is always gonna be doing some cowboy stuff, man. At the end of the day, they got look, they got
The
the
biggest game they
Lions.
got is Detroit. After
Yeah,
that,
they got the Lions.
after
Then they
that
got
is nothing.
yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Wow,
That's what I'm saying. And the Lions is not looking vulnerable right now.
wow.
That's what
They
I'm
got
saying. It ain't gonna be because of them. It's gonna be
they got
because
the
something else happened.
Lions. They got Vikes,
W.
Chargers, Commanders, and then the
Chargers,
Giants.
that the Chargers, that's a very winnable game, but that's probably outside of the Lions' their toughest game. But after that, I mean, they're gonna run through the rest of them. So I don't know. I don't
And
know.
it's
We'll
crazy.
see.
There's only 5 games left in the season.
Yeah. It happened quick, but they look good. And then on the flip side, you got the Chiefs, who they look very pedestrian nowadays, man.
Yeah,
And I know that's on. You're an AFC guy. That's in your team's division, and your team's
about time.
rival. But they looking real vulnerable. Like, what you think about the Chiefs right now?
This is uncharted territory for them. So I think they
Yeah.
might be done. They're used to having good momentum around this time of the year. And they're used to being on top of the division.
Hmm.
Right now, they look rattled, to be honest with you.
Right.
They're
Right.
looking old. So it looked like it might be time for a refresh for them.
Hmm.
I think Kelsey's going to retire at the end of the season
Yeah. Yeah.
for them, and they're going to have to retool. You know what I mean? Get some fresh legs in there and get some guys that can get open because it looked like they put points up on the board, but then it just seemed like they get stagnant after a while too. But their defense is kind of horrible too. They secondary, it's kind of terrible.
This is the gift and the curse when you have an elite quarterback. Is that
Yeah,
you got to pay them,
you got to
and
pay them
once you
for it.
pay them, you are taking money away from all the skill positions that you need, all the other ancillary positions that you need to fill up, and you can't pay people. You can't pay people, so they got a big money earner at quarterback. On defense, they got a big money earner. On the line, they got so. And then now, when you're trying to fill in enough receivers, you're trying to get you a running back, you're trying to get you a linebacker to a safety. It's just like they don't have the money to pay during free agency. So now you gotta hope that you can draft well. But if your team is doing well every year, you're not gonna get high draft picks. So it's tough. It's a gift and a curse. Where all right, you got your quarterback, you got your franchise is solidified in that way, but
He too
now
young. He too
you're
young
gonna
to take
have
a
to
pay
make
cut.
up in other areas. That's what we've been seeing with Kansas City is that they don't have a lot of pieces, and it's always been put on Mahomes to kind of carry things. And like you said, he young, but he's starting to look old.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
but I think he gonna be too young mentally to say I need to take a pay cut.
I mean, he might not have no choice if he want to have a roster,
Yeah,
So unless he think he can do it on his own, I don't know. But you know, what's going to end up happening? Here's the funny part. What's going to end up happening? Tyreek going to end up going back.
I think so too. I think
He
so
gonna
too.
he gonna end up going back. He coming
I
off that
think,
injury. He coming off that injury, and the price of the brick gonna go down on him. You
yeah,
know what I mean? It ain't gonna be the same. And if he has, I mean, that was a major injury he had. So if he comes back with any of that athleticism burst,
they
and
good money.
they're gonna pick him up, and that'd be a nice little reunion to see if that can help them out. But
Him
yeah,
and Worthy.
yeah, I can see that happening. So
That's
they got
tough.
some work to do over there in the AFC. But I'll tell you this one thing about Kansas City. I don't care how they look. If they get into that wild card,
Yeah.
I don't want to play them because he's just gonna turn to something different now when he get in that playoff. So
And
this is
that's
the
the thing. He
time.
just
Y'all
got to
got
make
him.
it.
Y'all got to get him out. Y'all got to get him out. Get him out now. Don't let that man in there.
Yeah, he just got to make it. If he can get
Yeah.
there, then they good to go. That's the same thing I say about Joe Burrow. If they get there,
Mm-hmm.
he's the kryptonite. I
Yeah.
ain't gonna lie.
Mm-hmm.
As long as they get them there, and him like the Bengals and the Ravens, they got to win out. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? The Ravens are looking a little bit better since they've been winning, but they need to keep winning because they're on the outside looking in. Let me check that out too. But I think Lamar might be in decent shape right now. But let me see, AFC, what we got?
Lamar, Joe Burrow, Ravens, Cincinnati, all Kansas City, all these teams that's not good. And we're not talking about some different teams in the AFC that we should be talking about. For
Uh,
some reason, they not being talked about right now.
well, right now the Chiefs are 10th.
Yeah, yeah,
They're
yeah.
on the bubble still.
Let's talk about who's number one in the AFC and
Well, yeah, that's the Patriots.
who's number two, and who's like. Let's talk about those type of teams.
The Patriots is number one in the AFC,
Well,
and the
let's talk about the Patriots.
Bears are number one in the NFC.
That's the NFC. That's the NFC. We on the
Yeah,
AFC
that's
right
what I
now.
said. NFC.
But now, I mean, I think
And
I
the
just want
hold up, the Lions in the bubble too.
the Lions got like 5 L's.
Holy shit!
They messed up losing.
Yeah, I see. This crazy thing is, you know what I mean. For me, I really wasn't paying attention to the Lions because they was winning in the beginning. So I was like, you know what,
Oh, they
they've
caught
been
a couple
great,
L's lately.
but they've been taking some L's. And yeah,
So
actually,
so so here's the so when you look at all right, so you look at the AFC, you got your top two teams. Obviously, you got Denver and you got Patriots. Now, I'm looking at the Patriots, even just looking at them today. Obviously, they're playing the Giants, so take that with a grain of salt. But Drake may look good, man.
yo,
He's accurate.
that's what I'm about to say. He's
He's
accurate as
accurate as
hell.
shit.
He's
And
accurate as hell.
and they got a nice offense, man. They got some good players. That defense, they out there, like we was talking about it in the beginning. So if that team looks real good, you still wonder how that's going to look in the playoffs if he plays up.
Might be fool's gold in the
Yeah,
playoffs.
if he goes up against goes up against a Buffalo, or if he ends up going up against, the Ravens, or if Cincinnati makes it or anything like
Yeah,
that, you wonder how that might turn out. But regardless, they're coming. You
yeah.
got Denver. Your defense is stellar. You know what I mean?
Defense
And
look good, but our offense is still shaky.
Bo Nix look good for what it's worth.
We
I
should
mean, the last
we
game,
shouldn't
this
have had
past game,
that.
he looked good.
Yeah, well, he looked good, but to the point where we shouldn't have had that problem with the command.
So you're just speaking from a fan of your team perspective.
No,
So
I
it's
look at it
easy to
like
be
this.
critical of your
You
own
see,
team.
no. I look at it like this. If the Patriots are doing what you see, they're manhandling the Giants. We should be doing, we should be distancing ourselves from these teams when we show up to play teams who are not on our same level. But that's not the case that's going on. We are always in a dogfight every week. We
But that's
can't
the
be in
same
a
thing
dog.
like the Bears, though. It's the same, and we kind of almost kind of mirror it, like both are like the Bears and Denver is damn near mirror. Like
Yeah,
when you look at it, like how the quarterbacks are, how the teams are. Your defense is good, like all around solid. Our defense is good in terms of takeaways, but it's good coaching and just and being tough and gritting it out at the end. But as far as Denver, I think in the playoffs, I got something that other teams don't got. Y'all got that home field advantage in Mile High.
Yeah,
And so that's
real
just
quick.
an extra player on the field right there. And if y'all sitting there at a top seed, y'all gonna have a game or two played in Mile High, and that's gonna help. And late in January and stuff like that. And listen, now we got problems now, for other teams that's coming in. So yeah,
It depends on who we get.
it really don't matter. It
If
don't
we get
matter
a
that
team like the Ravens or like you said the Bengals, who's more experienced, we might have a problem.
no.
Yeah,
You're just being pessimistic, sir.
nah,
That nobody, Denver, Kansas City, Buffalo, like these are teams with distinct advantages at home. Some is environmental weather, and some is just crowd. And Seattle was another one. Seattle's another one. It's just crowd and whatever. And y'all is environment, and there's no other place in the NFL that duplicates what y'all have. So yeah, and y'all gonna be a top two seed. So they're gonna have to go through
I
Denver,
can tell
sir.
you, I can tell you what the whole NFL can't duplicate what Chicago got. Ben Johnson out there taking off his shirt, and he out there pumped up. He ready to get the team going. I ain't never seen a coach rocking with the players like that. I can tell you that much.
The fact that Chicago was giving out free wieners and hot dogs just because they took off a shirt, I didn't understand the correlation between that. I'm like, wait a minute, so they get free wieners because he took off his shirt? The fuck is that? Pause. Why is that the thing that get them free hot dogs? Like
Hey
what the
man,
fuck? I was completely confused by that. I like, wait a minute. So the shirt equals free hot dogs? Hey, man, let's
man,
give out free burgers.
they
Don't give
they
me no
they just trying to find a reason to
free
get rid of.
franks.
They just trying to find a reason to give out the extra food that they got. That's all
Yeah,
they do. That's all.
I get that, but no, man. Listen, man. It's hard, and it's hard for me to get excited about my team. The Bears and their success right now because I saw the double doink, man. I saw different years where we just had chances. We could have did something with our squad, and it just didn't happen. We've had some years where we just wasn't good. That's the majority of recent years. But our team is not a dominant team, like you said with Denver having these like 2 or 3 point W's and things like that. That's the Bears too, and now it's been 3 point W's from comebacks and things like that. And there's been comebacks of lesser teams. So I think why everybody's jumping out the window is because this was a win against a good team, the defending champions, and the way they beat them, where the score looked the way it was, but the score didn't tell us true story of how that game was played. We dominated that team where their strength is at their defensive line, and we pushed them all around. And I think that's why people are getting excited. Now you got this Green Bay game that's coming up next week, so nobody expected the Bears to be remotely anywhere near this right here, and them sitting at the top seed in the month of December.
The top.
So it's something to get. It's hard not to get excited about it, but man, I just don't want to get set up for the letdown. And what the letdown is going to be, because I can't. What are we expecting? A Super Bowl? No, I don't think any logical Bear fan is expecting a Super Bowl out of this.
Are Bears fans logical though?
Yes, I think
You think
so.
so?
I think we're not Dallas. I don't think Bear. You ain't gonna hear no Bears fan talk about we going all the way this year. Like, no, what I mean? I think our hopes be set in, or we're gonna beat Green Bay. Those be our hopes. Is beating Green Bay or getting in there in the wild card and stuff like that. That'd be our hope. So Ben Johnson, he's starting to change that. So next year is gonna be a little bit different than what the expectations are. But nobody expected what it was this year, and it's fun. Chicago is one of the original teams, and it's the second biggest market in the country. It's just like the Knicks. It's like when the Knicks are good, you got these fans that come out the blue. You got a
Yeah.
franchise that haven't won in God knows how long. So this big fan base is just starving. So now they all over the place. And it's the same thing with like Chicago and football, where it's one of the original franchises. They still talk about the '85 Bears to this day. You know what I mean? That's a team that had the Chicago Bulls win 6 championships in the '90s. And the biggest thing, and you got the Cubs, you got the White
Yeah,
Sox,
yeah, yeah.
and the biggest thing in Chicago is still the Chicago Bears, regardless of how bad the team is, how good they are. That's a Bears town right there. So they gonna be going crazy, man. See how this
Hey,
stuff turns out.
this is when the season really starts right now.
Right.
You know what I mean? But before we close out with on the football, you saw Shador's second start. What you thought? Oh, for me, I thought he managed the game well. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I don't like I said to everybody else, they did not open the playbook for him to do a whole bunch of stuff. So he did what any rookie quarterback should do. He fifth round quarterback should do. He managed the game and he didn't lose the game for them.
Mm-hmm.
So he didn't turn over the ball. He took advantage of what he had. But let's not forget that the Browns are the Browns. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? So they're playing the 49ers. They're a better team. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, the Browns turned over the ball a lot, but he did. He went through his check downs. You know what I mean? I seen him audible one time. So he tried to work through different things. They ran the ball a lot. They ran it all the time, and then they tried to do some, passing, try to disguise it with some passing after a while. But he didn't. He didn't look rattled. He looked calm, collective, and he went. He did what he had to do. Within the offense that he had. It's really not more I can really say than that. The weather was bad too at the same time. They made a big deal about the Jerry Judy thing, which we could talk about that in a little bit. But that's overall. I give him a C plus. You know what I'm saying? C
Mm-hmm.
plus. I wouldn't touch it with like a B or anything like that because his stats wasn't anything great. It was like 140 something yards, and I think he only threw it like maybe about 18 times. You know what I mean? So it was nothing too crazy. You know what I mean? So what you think?
So when you talk about giving him a grade, and you said C plus, when I think of a grade to give Shador for his performance, I want to give him an I for incomplete. And I want to give him that because I don't even want to grade him because
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know
yeah,
why? And I'm just going to kind of go with a different place than this is that, we continuously sitting here talking about Shador and he's grabbing so much highlights. And we are completely letting Cam Ward off the hook.
off the hook, off the
Nobody
hook.
talk about Cam Ward and his team that is what, one in something or two or something. Like,
Yeah,
I don't know. And I'm not sitting here saying that he's playing terrible or he's playing good. I'm saying that nobody knows how he's playing because nobody's talking about it.
yeah. Nobody can.
Like this is a number one overall pick. And the guy that's grabbing the headlines is a fifth round draft pick. Even all right, it's not fine. You want to say that is because he's primetime son and all that stuff. Billy Gabriel getting more headlines than
Yeah.
Cam Ward. Like, this is crazy. Like my thing is that I think the guys got to understand that at the end of the day, this is towards the end of the season. This is his second week of preparation and things like that for football games. We was in week 13 and he's playing his second game. This is how he would look if this was the second week of the season. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not even grading this man right now. I actually don't even care how he looks. I just want him to get some reps and get some, have his moments. Hopefully, have a good pass or two, and he doesn't look terrible. But Cam Ward, what's going on with that? What's going on with him and his production? Why nobody talking about that? Why he's getting this pass that nobody. Caleb Williams damn sure didn't get that pass last year.
Well, the league is all about stories,
Yeah,
and
I
and
didn't.
they
I didn't
going with
see
the
him get it.
story. Yeah, they going with the story that's going to sell tickets
Mm-hmm.
because right now Shador is putting tickets in people in seats in Cleveland. You know what I mean? People are going out to see him. They're buying his jersey. So, and it's kind of crazy that all this is going on with him. that even the media, he's getting all this media attention.
Mm-hmm.
But then the owner hates him, don't really rock with him. The coach really don't rock with him. You look at their social media. Cleveland is constantly promoting him on their social media. NFL is constantly promoting him.
Mm-hmm.
This is the year that if you are a Cam Ward, that you gonna get that pass because nobody cares about you. He's not that. Cam Ward is not that marketable person, so they don't give a hell about him. You know what I
Number
mean?
one pick,
Was
man.
a rookie quarterback that played for, I think he played for the Vikings, or he threw 4 picks. He was horrible. So that shows you that a rookie has a
Yeah,
hard
it wasn't JJ. It was the backup.
the backup, yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it
yeah.
shows that a rookie has a harder time to adjust to the league than anything. You know what I mean? All this stuff that's going on is all about money right now. That's all it is with the league. They just want to market. They got no one else to really. They want to keep the stories going. They don't have no one fresh from the rookie class to market but Shador.
Yeah,
It's crazy how Cleveland, out of all places, is getting all this attention when they really don't even want to do.
yeah.
Makes
It's
no
gonna be
sense.
it's gonna be interesting to see how they work this out towards the end during the off season, man.
Yeah, I really see Shador. It's going to be tough for them to let him go, but I really see him going to a new team next year.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know they're
I
going
think that'd be best for him anyway. I'm pretty sure he'll want to stay in Cleveland.
Yeah, yeah. I think that he's going to go and their coach is going to get fired. So
Mm-hmm.
it is what it is. You know what I mean? I just, you know what I mean? Like I said, in every pod we got, we always wish that young man well. We're happy that he's able to play. He's going to get the next start against it. He's going to play against your boy, Cam Ward. Yeah,
And maybe Cam will get some pub, man. Maybe they'll
yeah,
show.
yeah.
You
So
know,
this week coming up, we'll be able to see something between. Let's see if Cam Ward steps up to the plate and actually shows up.
yeah. It's that. If he don't, that's gonna look like one of the worst quarterback drafts in a while.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But
But
hey,
they're rookies, so let me not put too
yeah,
much on them.
yeah, you know what I mean. And that reminds me of the notable quarterbacks right now because you talk about Shador, Cam Ward, and then with college football, you talk about Arch Manning too, and he hasn't had the best year as well neither. And he was a big name that was trending all year,
Mm-hmm.
and it was mostly negatively because people were just talking about how bad he was. But now all that quiet down because people will say, "Hey, he's not that good. He needs another year. He don't need to come out." So hopefully they give these other dudes some grace. Shador hasn't been given any grace because it just seems like people just hate him because of Prime. It's weird, though. It's weird how dudes just be talking crazy about the dude, but
Mm-hmm.
it is, man, what it is. You know how that goes. So what else we got on the board? Let's get up. Let's get up. Hold up. Before we do that, that post about our recent post about the what was the Clay Thompson and also the Draymond Green,
Yeah,
mostly the Draymond Green. We just want to put it out there to everybody, like, hey, you know what I mean? We are marketing our pod as well with our socials. We are putting clips out there. These are clips of the episode. So if you are trying to judge the whole conversation off of a small clip, you might want to go watch the whole episode. You know what I mean? We talk about a
just do
lot.
your research. That's
Yeah,
all.
do your research before you knock it. We love the engagement. We love the love that you're giving, the engagement. We're talking back with you. We have no issue with that. But please watch the whole thing to get the whole gist of the conversation before you just try to generalize it and just talk bad about it or shoot it down. We got a lot of information going on here. We try to talk about all types of aspects of the game. We talk about Draymond's side. We talk about everybody else's side for the Hall of Fame as well. So, give us a chance. That's all we
Listen, man,
ask.
I don't pretend to be no guru on anything that we talk about. It's just all opinion. Is all our opinions on things, and it comes from you know what we see, and also obviously what we do research on. Whether it's the talk about Draymond, whether it's we just talking about Shador, and somebody can have a completely different take on the Shador thing. But whatever it is our opinion. And I don't mind, even if say, hey man, y'all know what y'all talk about. Y'all know sports, all that stuff. Man, leave it in there. Let's talk about that. What do
Yeah,
you have a
let's talk
problem
about
with?
it.
Let's debate that.
Yeah,
And
let's talk about it.
shoot, man, you never
I have
know.
no issue.
If you come up with a strong debate point, we may actually jump on this pod, man.
Hey,
You never know.
we always got room for a guest. You know what I
You
mean?
know.
It could be, on a day like this where it's just, we're missing out or we're missing P today. Hey, you never know. We can say, hey, come join us for the quick conversation for a segment. You know what I mean? And we'll talk about whatever,
Mhm.
whatever you got a gripe with. We can talk about it. You know what I mean? It's not a tough thing to do. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? We would like the engagement of people who are engaging in our content. It's plain and simple. You know what I mean? So let's move on. You know what I mean? What you want to hit next, Paul?
I mean, I know you about to get off the football and ball. It's the beginning of the season, so the beginning of the season is usually not much going on.
Yeah,
You got the NBA Cup that's starting to fill its way out. Still got some teams that's trying to figure out their chemistry and all that stuff. But I know Chris Paul, he put out that he's retiring and he was gonna, at the end of the season, he was gonna call it a career. And now it's time, man. Is he gonna get him a sending off? Is he gonna get him, the Kobe send off, or is he just gonna just play the games he gonna get in and then call it a career at the end, man?
nah, he ain't getting no send off. I can tell you that now.
They ain't got no love for Chris Paul out here.
This is where you really need Draymond right now. Talking about they don't love you like they love Kobe. You think you Kobe? Like he did Paul Pierce that time. They don't, what I mean, at the end of the day, they don't really love Chris Paul like that, yo. Even though he did a lot of work for the players, you know what I mean, with the association and all that. He did a lot. But he rubs players off the wrong way, with his leading style. And they say he's a little dirty, you know what I mean, when
Yeah,
he play.
I think that's part of his greatness. I think that's part of what makes him who he is, his grit. Me and Maul, we always talk about Chris Paul a lot. One thing about Chris Paul is that him being a 6 foot point guard out there, one thing you never saw is somebody post him up. He
Never.
he will push and fight, and you try to post him up as a small guard, he ain't let you have it. You get the ball, you at the 3 point line. Like, that's the type of player he was. He's gritty, and some of that might look dirty, but it's just him fighting. And when a small man in a game full of giants, you got to be gritty. You got to have that attitude. You got to have a different type of leadership style. And Chris Paul in his prime, man, he was great, man. He was a great PG. He was a great facilitator. He could score when needed to, play defense. Chris
His
Paul
first
in every
first
team
few
he was
years in the
on.
league, he'll bang it too.
Oh yeah, and every team he was
Pause.
on, he improved, and they was always good. So Chris Paul, he's definitely one of the top point guards of all time. We can debate what number you want to put him in there, but he's definitely in there, and just it might vary where you put him at, but he's good, man. So will he get that send off? Probably not, but he Gucci in my eyes.
I can tell you one thing: some people should give him a send off. David West, Tyson Chandler, you know what I mean? Players like that, he got
Blake,
them paid.
DeAndre,
Yeah, he got
yeah,
them paid.
yeah, man, yeah, absolutely,
So it's
absolutely.
he was definitely the
He was a
if you
big
look
part.
up
He was
point
a big
guard,
part.
you see him.
He was a big part of Shea Gilgeous' his development.
Yeah,
That year he was at OKC.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know
yeah,
what I mean? And playing under him, and they was real tight over there. They tight to this day.
yeah.
Shea it's credited him a lot with the early development. Listen, man, Chris Paul was good, man. He one of the greats.
He was one of my favorites. You know what I mean? I ain't gonna lie to you. He was legit. Shout out to Chris Paul
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
for all you did for the league and the leadership that you did show. You know what I mean? You gave a good example to these younger players that was coming in at the time. They say what they say. It is what it is, man. You're a competitor at the end of the day, man. You're gonna fight. You're gonna do whatever to get the advantage. That's just what it is.
And what it also is doing is that it's starting to close that era.
Yeah.
He's one of the few last that's left from that era, that previous era, and there's only a couple left. When he go, that's one more that's knocked down. Where I don't know who's gonna be the last to leave. You know what I mean? It's getting
I
close.
don't
Where,
know.
obviously LeBron, where you got the Hardens, you got the KDs, the Stephs. You know what I mean? They all got but a couple years left, man. So
I think Harden might be the last one, yo.
he might. That's just because he ain't got nothing else to do.
Yeah.
Just out there playing fat and shit.
Yeah. If I'm about to be a betting man, I'll put it on Harden pause because I think he might because the way how he play. What I mean? He can still
Mhm.
survive a little bit with the way he can do a lot. He
And he
can.
don't get hurt neither. He's somebody who stays fairly healthy for the most part. So throughout his
Yeah,
career, he didn't get hurt much.
yeah, nah, and he balling right now too.
Yeah,
He is balling. Clippers stink, but they balling though.
yeah.
It is what it is, man. But yeah, it is early in the season. It's usually around this time, 20 games in. I really like to give it a little bit more than 20, about 25 to 30 games to really see how your team really looks and how their identity is going to be. Um, Sometimes teams can turn it around the 50 game mark, but this is the time that you really see like teams like the Bulls who started out good. They was like 5-0 and now they're terrible. You know what I mean? They're not looking too good right now. The Magic ain't looking the best here and there right now. So a lot of these teams that people had high hopes for, who started out strong in the break, like even the Knicks, they started off strong and then they losing, and it's a seesaw game with the Knicks right now. And right now they're on the winning streak right now. Hopefully they can step up and keep building on that momentum. I need Cat to do a little bit more. He needs to be more aggressive for me, but he's mirroring the same thing he gave us last year. He was the same thing, acting soft. And then towards the end of the year, he was playing tough.
I think Cat gets caught up on trying to pace himself.
Yeah.
Now I don't know if he's playing injured or something like that, or something just slowing him down. But it seemed to me that he paces himself. And it's like, all right, I'm not gonna put too much effort into this game, and you can see the effort change as the games go.
Yeah, yeah,
And some games he got maximum effort, some games he's playing the background. And in this league, with this team, we need him to be that. We got to be able to like kind of pause, jump, jump on his back, pause, and I got to pause anything with Cat, but but like be able to have him win some games sometimes. You know what I mean? Because they always keep that putting that on Jalen, man. That we can talk, man. Listen, we can go all day on that, but I
yeah,
don't know.
yeah.
But Hart looking good. He looking like he got back into in season stuff, and we just got to get healthy. I tell you what, though, just maybe we got to another pod. We got to kind of dive deep or pause on the Knicks, but our off-season acquisitions that we all thought was going to be good, no.
Yeah.
Yabusele ain't doing nothing. I don't even like what Clarkson give us. You
No,
know what I mean?
not
So,
at all.
Shamit, who was giving us the most, he what I mean, he out of pocket for a couple games. I mean, for a couple weeks or a month
I'm
or
happy it
so. I don't
wasn't
know.
for the year.
Yeah. They said it wasn't as bad as they thought it was, so that's good. But you never know with those dislocated shoulders. They can pop in and out any time.
Yeah.
You know that.
Yeah. Wait a minute.
I gave out just dues.
But definitely, I mean, yeah, we might have to talk about that another pod just to really get,
Yeah.
but before we leave from that, the way how Cat's playing now is not going to stop the yells and screams, the desire for Giannis. So, you know what I mean? We know what Giannis gives. He gives 100% every time. And this is what New Yorkers want. You want somebody who can put the hard hat on, pause, and go to work. You know what I'm saying? And that's what they expect. That's the little that they only want the effort. That's all they want.
Listen, I thought we missed our chance to grab him up in the
Yeah,
off season,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
but I'll tell you this much. If for whatever reason he becomes available, we better go ahead and jump on that.
Well, he might ask to do something because they're not looking good. You know,
Yeah, we'll see.
I
We'll
believe it
see.
when I see it. When it comes to Giannis,
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
you know. So,
What else we got?
you know what? Let's go to who's been in the news lately. Mike Epps.
Hmm.
Mike Epps. He went back on social media because he was on the Breakfast Club, and he said two controversial things. The one thing was about the food stamps, about
Mm-hmm.
about people abusing food stamps, and people need to learn to do without the government assistance. That's fine. But then what gave him a more of an uproar was saying that we should not celebrate people who comes home from jail. He feels like that as soon as somebody comes home from jail, we treat it like it's a holiday. We give them all type of parties and stuff like that. A step of seeing if they learn from why they got in there. If they became a different man and whatever the case may be. So that's what things has been going crazy with that. He went on his live and he said, "Hey, y'all got my message the wrong way. I don't want to glorify going to jail for the younger generation." He said his main thing is to keep the kids to not want to be like a rapper who goes to jail and come home, or just think that they get that street cred by just going to jail and come back home. And people are going to love them more than they did before. So that was his thing.
Hmm.
How you feel about that message? And it's coming, and it's kind of weird because it's coming from him. You know what I mean? Because people don't take him seriously half the time. So I'm surprised it did get this much attention.
I don't know. I mean, I guess I get what he's trying to say. And he's basically like, yo, why do we as a culture give so much credence to the guy who committed some crime? He goes, he does some time. And now when he comes home, it's this big celebration like, oh, he a real one. He did that time and now he's home and that's it. But are we really celebrating him? Because I know we talked on a couple pods ago. We talked about Max B when he got out, and we was talking about that, and we was making a joke. We was making jokes about how he was well received when he came home.
Yeah.
He had a homecoming that we don't see often because Mike Epps talking about we shouldn't celebrate him, but I don't think we do celebrate these guys like when they do come home like that. You know what I mean? It might be something for the gram real quick, but then after that. These dudes don't be doing much. I mean, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But I think it varies, man. I don't think it's nothing wrong with celebrating somebody who come home from doing time in prison, because if you did your time in prison, you paid your debt to society. So you did your time. You know what I mean? You ain't escaped. You did your time. So why, when you're saying glorifying being in jail, it's not about glorifying being in jail. It's glorifying that you came and you made it out of jail. You made it through. You paid your debt to society. Now you're coming home, and hopefully you don't do no more bullshit, and you stay out. You know what I mean? So it's not about, oh yeah, it shouldn't be about, oh yeah, he committed a crime and now he home after he committed that crime. It should be he did his thing. He committed a crime. He went to jail. He did his time, and now he's out, and he can be with his family, and hopefully make good on some of the issues, some of the mistakes that he made. And that's what people should be celebrating. You know what I mean? And put something in place for this person so they don't fall back into those same old habits, so they don't do some of the things that they did that got them in there, and truly reform. So yeah, I don't know where he was trying to go with that. I think sometimes comedians make jokes and then people react to the joke and now they try to make it more than what it was and try to say, oh no, I was really just talking about this. Nigga, he was making jokes. Niggas ain't like that joke and then making it
Yeah,
something
yeah,
else. Like, you know what I mean? Don't try to stand on it. You know what I mean? Just say what the hell
yeah.
you was talking
See,
about. Don't make it
nowadays,
seem like it was something else
because nowadays you gotta, I mean, if you say something, I mean, a lot of people are not, they lost that funny bone anyway. You know what I mean? So when you look
yeah,
at
yeah.
where he's coming from, you got to look at it, and people got to look at it this way too. He is a comedian, number one, and he's rich. You know what I mean? So you looking at it, he's looking at it through a different lens. Those people who are getting celebrated are the ones who are usually celebrities or, some type of rapper or whatever the case may be, who's coming home because they're loved by so many people because they were some type of celebrity. So that's a different type of a lens to look it through. You know what I mean? Our dudes around the corner or people around the way, they coming home, they ain't got all those people outside. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? They don't have it. Most of the time, they only coming
Mm-hmm.
out to themselves, and they finding they got to get a ride home, a Uber home, or whatever home to just go back to get adjusted to society. You know what I mean? If we're gonna have some type of celebration for them, most time it's something small and intimate with their own families, and that you only hope that the real prize is the rehabilitation. If they learn from their situation and if they are ready to do what they need to do to go forward to reacclimate into society. A lot of these dudes can fall back and get into trouble again when they struggle getting adapted to regular life again. They
Right,
can't get a
right,
job. It's hard for them to get a job. It's hard for them to do this and do that. It's just hard for them just to move forward because what I mean, the time period, it depends on how long they've been into. Because if they did about 20 years or 10 years, that time frame when they went in, they're coming out to a whole new time frame. And
right,
how
right.
different, it's totally different now. So, what I mean, I think people just need to look at it through a different lens, to be honest with you. You know what I mean? You can't look at it through someone's who's rich lens when you're not rich or you're not seeing what they're seeing at the same time. You got to see what you see and adjust from that. You know what I mean? I wouldn't
Mm-hmm.
make a big deal about it. You know, I who cares? To be honest with you, you know what I mean. You just hope that that person is going to do right, so they don't have to go back in. That's the main thing. You know what
Yeah,
I'm
I agree.
saying?
I agree.
So it is what it is, man. We got that Ray J, man. You know what I mean? Ray J, he was on the streaming. He had Thanksgiving, like we just talked about Thanksgiving.
Let's talk about Thanksgiving. Let's talk about Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're talking about Thanksgiving. You know what I mean? A little mac and cheese, little candy yam, little collard greens,
Candy
and
yam, yeah, man.
sprinkle a little bit of your baby moms and the kids, and
Hold on.
and
Before we get into that, real quick, I saw a post about Thanksgiving. I meant to bring it up earlier, where somebody said that um, it was some girl arguing like, I heard that people don't eat mashed potatoes on Thanksgiving. And she was like, when did that become a thing? And then everybody's in the comments like, yeah, that's never been a thing. Nobody eats mashed potatoes on Thanksgiving. And I thought about it. I was like, I never ate mashed potatoes on Thanksgiving, so I wanted to bring that up. I mean, I didn't know if P was gonna be on here too, but I wanted to ask y'all: Did y'all ever eat mashed potatoes on Thanksgiving?
I'm just thinking about it, I never had mashed potatoes on Thanksgiving.
Everybody was whoever this chick was, whatever. They was lighting her up on the comments. They was like, nobody eat no damn mashed potatoes on
Yeah, no.
Thanksgiving. They would eat sweet potatoes, like switches the yams and all that, but
Yeah,
nobody eat that.
yeah,
I was like, yeah, it made me think about it too. Just like you thought about it. First, you was thinking about like, yeah, I probably eat it. Then you thought about it, like, wait a minute, I don't think I
yeah,
did.
no.
It was fun. I had the same reaction. So my
Because yeah,
bad, but yeah, back to
because hold on, because usually the carb on Thanksgiving is usually like the stuffing, aka dressing. It depends. It's a big difference.
yeah. And I don't
So
call it dressing. I call it stuffing. But go on.
well, yeah. Most of the time, I call it stuffing too. You know what I mean? But there's two different. you'll know the difference between that
Right.
stovetop stuff that people make and the real stuffing with the cornbread. But
Mm-hmm.
usually and I mean, that's a different topic for food. I mean, we can talk about that another day. I mean,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
good.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Usually, you got the stuffing and the yams, and maybe some type of beans and stuff like that, some type of bread type of thing. Besides the cornbread, sometimes people make like muffins, or some different type of muffins and stuff like that. So if that's your fancy thing, you know what I mean. But
Mm-hmm.
I ain't never really. I heard of people having mashed potatoes, but I never seen it in my family.
I ain't never seen it. I ain't never heard nobody having it. It really made me think. I'm like, wait a minute, yo. I don't think I ever had no damn mashed potato. And I'm not even a mashed potato person. You know what I mean? Like, I don't like mashed potatoes. But, you know, I've had mashed potatoes, and, that's a nice pairing with, like, baked chicken or something like that. You know what I
It's
mean?
usually
But, like,
not our people, to be honest with you.
yeah.
I heard
But
it, but
our
it's not.
people have made some good mashed potatoes when they start to put the garlic and all that stuff
Yeah, yeah.
in there, and the garlic butter and all that stuff, and making it. But I just don't, me personally, I just don't like texture of mashed potatoes. That texture of food, I like sweet. So like I'm a sugar and the grits type of person. Pause. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm nothing on no sugar in the grits.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I am. You know what I mean? Like oatmeal gotta be sweet. That type of, But maybe we got to put that for another time. Let's get into
Yeah,
this Ray J thing. Let's get into this Ray J thing, man, because that could be something right there. Because but
you
yeah,
going
yeah,
you
no,
going
Ray, yeah,
to
yeah.
cause a
So
problem. You
so
gonna cause a
so
problem with sugar in the grits. I can tell you that much.
that could be a debate right there. Listen. What is it? Savory or sweet? I like mine sweet, man. Pause. But definitely got to pause there too.
Oh
But
yeah, yeah.
nah,
Then
but
Ray J, the Ray J, he was on the streaming. They got into an argument, and
him and his I don't know what he is to an ex or
ex-wife or whatever she
a
is.
princess. Was it Princess Love?
I think so. I'm not familiar with her, because
Yeah,
I don't.
that's big. That's
Yeah, I don't watch those. They said she was on the like Love and Hip Hop and all that stuff. I don't watch that stuff. You know what I mean? It's kind of funny too. We'll segue into that after this. I'll tell you about that. But they had an argument, and she wanted to take the kids, and it was supposed to be like late night or whatever. So she didn't want to be around him no more because of the argument, and she grabbed the kids, and it was another male there. So I don't know what his role was. If it's her family member or if it's her boyfriend or whatever, but he jumped in, and then Ray J ended up pulling out a gun and, threatened to shoot people, this and that, whatever, because he didn't want the kids to leave. So the cops were called, and there is a screenshot with him holding the gun from the stream. So they do have proof that there was a gun there, and he got arrested. He came back home, and he jumped on live again to say that, hey, it wasn't his fault. They was trying to take the kids. He didn't want the kids to go because of the time, and they was trying to forcefully take the kids out of the bed, this and that. So he had an issue with it. Regardless of what it is, this is a lot for Thanksgiving. You know what I mean? What are you arguing about on Thanksgiving? And I know that they were saying that, with some drinks involved and people getting high, maybe. There's a whole lot going on. You got kids mixed with all this. It don't end well when all this happens. No one wins. You know what I'm saying? The streaming thing, why are we doing this, yo? Why are we putting all our personal lives on display for these likes and views? But Ray J's a businessman, I get it. He does this all the time. This is his thing. But are we really crossing the line when it comes down to the streaming and family life? And when do we cut the cord and say, hey, I need a break from all this just so I can do my own personal thing with my family?
yeah. I think, and just to add some context, like this is the person who he was having I guess the moment with is. It's his baby mother, I think her name is Princess, Love, I think. And if it was a viral moment some years ago on one of those hip hop shows where they was they was having a discussion and she got mad, she was pouring drinks on him, and he tried to walk away, and he was walking by a pool, and she tried to push him in the pool, but he kind of dipped and like let her go into the pool herself. She just fell into the pool, and it was a viral moment or whatever, and she was mad and still trying to go after him. So I say that to say that they've been toxic for years. Them two have
Okay.
been toxic. They've been on and off. A lot of that stuff has been public. They're two public figures, and Ray J is a character, man. He's a
Yeah.
character onto himself. He's a troll. He knows what he's doing. He knows how to get attention, whether it be good or bad. Now, this wasn't good attention because it involved kids, it involved a weapon, and he put himself out there, and it was being streamed. And obviously, we know streaming is live, and you can't take back live. Once it's there, it's there, and it didn't look good. And he could have had a point. He was just talking about. He's like, "Oh, you've been drinking. You about to take my kids in the car." So and he has a point. You know what I mean? Who wants their kids to be woken up, put in a car, and driven by people who've been drinking? But it sounded like it was a messy situation. You know what I mean? And these are some of the things that happen in these, with during these celebrations and these holidays and things like that, man. When people can't be adults sometimes, man. But that's a shame that kids the kids are involved, and they're part of this toxicity that's going on between them two. But he can't stream on Twitch no more. He banned off of that. You know what I mean? So he got a lifetime ban on Twitch. So now he got to go to Kick. And he's trying to get into the streaming part. You know what I mean? He really, him and he got a relationship with Kai. And I think Kyle trying to school him on some things, like during the Mafia Thon, and he was a big supporter of Kyle doing that. So I think he was trying to really get to the streaming world. But the streaming world on those platforms, especially Twitch, there's a lot of things you can't do on there. You can't fight on there. Like, if there's a fight that's going on, they'll cut your stream and you can get banned off of there. You know what I mean? You can't be showing illegal things. Kick got a little bit more freedom, but you're gonna have to learn from that one because they said he got a lifetime ban.
Yeah,
But
that's
I think Speed had a lifetime ban too, and they just put him back on. So he was off there for a couple of years. But
yeah. To see the thing is, I think, and I wonder, do you think like since they've been on this Love and Hip Hop and stuff like that, do you think some of this stuff is staged?
I don't think that was staged. But you can't put it past it because it's Ray J.
Yeah. So the thing is, you know what I mean? I try to look at it in the streamer lens because, you know what I mean? You, as a streamer, you want to put yourself in position for something like this to happen. You know what I mean? So you got the cameras constantly rolling to see all the moments, and you hope that there is some wild moments to attract people to your channel so people can watch you. So that's why you keep it going to keep the authenticity going.
I think that what you're saying was his
Yeah.
idea, but I think he didn't expect it to go where it went because I think he knew where it was going. It was like, all right, let me go on live while this is going on, and yeah, he gonna get some eyes and stuff like that. But it turned to where it turned to. I'm pretty sure he didn't think, let me go to jail. He didn't want that to happen. You know what I mean? So it went too far. That's Ray J.
So let me ask you this. So should these streamers here, what it's growing, it's grown. The streamer thing is like a new line of income for these guys. Whoever can do it, they are really getting into it. Should there be some type of mindset that they have to have when they turn it off for a little while? You know what I mean? 'Cause that junk is rolling 24/7. You know what I mean? You see Kai, he doing it for months straight. You know what I mean? And
Well, I mean, all of them can't do what Kai did. So Kai is like kind of he's the exception. You got some that can stream 24 hours and things like that. A lot of and I've been like kind of paying attention to the streaming stuff, and it's different. They're like the new rappers now, to be quite honest. And then like it's different, but a mindset. I mean, I think that's with anything. Anytime you are showing you're performing for the world, because part of that streaming is performative as well. They're
Yeah,
not
yeah,
being who they are once they're streaming. Some of that is an act. Some of that is a character that they play. And you know, you'll hear some of them talk about like, yeah, he completely different on stream than he is when he's off stream. You know, like some of them know they got to kind of perform, and because that's how you draw. Like you said, that's how
yeah.
you get viewers. You know what I mean? You can't just be bland and laid back and think that you're gonna have thousands of people watching you. You gotta entertain and you know
I'll be terrible at
portray
streaming.
something. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'll be terrible.
You got to have the personality, you got to have the energy,
Yeah,
and you got to have the focus to do that. You know, that's why a lot of the young guys who have that can do it. You know, so you know, I get it. I think you got to have a plan when you do it. Just not to even get it, you know, all the way into to that part right there. But like you said, like the mindset, I just think that everybody who watching it got to keep it in perspective that even though they're streaming and it's live, it's not real. It's not real. Some of it, a lot of it is an act, and don't pay too much. Don't you know get caught up in it.
yeah. You know what I mean? I don't knock those guys. I think that you know what I mean what they're doing is good. You know what I mean? Anything that can keep young men making money and keeping them out of trouble for the most part, man, I'm all for it. And I know things at times are changing. So technology's changing, the things that people are gonna like. And even my son, he wants to do some type of streaming. He wants to do videos and stuff like that. So I know eventually that I will be watching him grow into that with his he likes the YouTube and making his YouTube page grow and he's already
Mm-hmm.
talking about followers and people subscribing, all this stuff already. So which I look forward to see that transition as he gets older and to
Mm-hmm.
grow into whatever he chooses to be as a streamer. So, I just wonder if these guys are so caught up into it that they lose reality of the fact that my real life is going on. I might need to turn this off right now, to protect themselves.
Right.
So, I mean, Ray J is older, he's not one of them young ones. So we know that Ray J is known for having ups and downs and all this other stuff. So hopefully everything works out for him. Shout out to Ray J. I hope everything works out. And if there's some type of domestic thing going on, please work it out, man. Things are needed to be worked out for the kids. You want to see your kids and you want to have a good, healthy relationship with your baby mother, whoever she is, so you can co-parent. Whatever else she does is whatever else she does, and what you do is what you do. But the thing is, you got to come together for the kids. That's all we really care about. That's I don't know about anything else about this other stuff, but that's the main thing for me. You need some peace. That's it. And we ain't got he got money. You know what I mean? So we ain't got it and we value peace. I know as you got money, you can do whatever you want to do. He's been wilding. But when the lights are off and the camera's not rolling, I know he's gonna want to value some peace eventually. You know what I mean? So just what I mean. Once again, shout out to Ray J and Princess Love. That's I ain't a
Ray J's unfair. That's just all we need to know. It's been unfair for years.
But yeah, so since we done with that, it's funny because love it was love and basketball. Is it love and basketball? Which one it was with the one with Eric Williams?
Yeah, yeah. Basketball wives. I don't know. I know what you're talking about.
So it was funny because when I was working at the church in Inglewood, whatever, the mega church. So we was doing the Valley parking. So a little bit of shout out to First Baptist Church too. So they used to have actors and celebrities come through the church, sports players. Like that's why I met Chris Canty. I met CC Sabathia. Met Terrence J. So as we park in the cars, it was one lady. She always comes fairly late, whatever, and she run up because I'm always in the front of the parking lot. So I'm usually the first one to greet people coming in. So she would roll up and she's like, I'm late, I'm late, I'm late. Can you hook me up? Whatever, whatever. So she'd just give me her keys and to park her car. So after months and months of doing that, she always used to talk. She was like, yeah, if you got something to do, take my car, you know what I mean? Because I just want my car in the parking lot. So I was like, all right, whatever. So I just always find a park for her, keep it moving, whatever. So it was one time she came up to me. She was like, yeah, I'm moving to California. So I'm like, oh, man, that's a big change, from Jersey to California. That's kind of crazy. She was like, I said, so what's going on? Why is the move? So she goes, well, I'm going for work. So I'm like, what do you do? She goes, I'm kind of embarrassed to say. So I'm like, you selling drugs? You know what I mean? Or you selling that cat? You know what I mean?
That's what I was thinking. That's what I was thinking.
You know what I mean? So she was
About
like,
to be
nah.
on Bang Bros or something.
Yeah, yeah. So she was like, yeah, I just don't really like to talk about work like that. So I was like, what do you do? She was like, yeah, I'm on that whatever is it, Basketball Wives or whatever the case may be. And I was like, for real? And I was like, I don't watch. So I don't.
Jennifer?
Yeah, it was Jennifer. Yeah. So, and it was funny because she was real cool. I talked to her every Sunday. Really cool person. And she was like embarrassed to talk about the fact that no, 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 no. So to after,
Mm, yeah.
yeah, I get it, but that's
And they, shout out Eric Williams, North. But no, North representative. But Eric Williams splashed that damn drink in her face on that show, man. He splashed that drink in her face hard as hell, man. Like point
man.
blank range. I'm like, oh, he done. Wow. I tell you what, he done used to get buckets of Shabazz, boy. But
Yeah.
yeah.
I tell you, this is a good pod today, man. Very good
Yeah,
pod.
man. Yeah, man.
But what you call before we get out of here, I want to shout out Cory Booker for getting married. You know what I mean? I guess this solidifies his presidential run. You know
Yep.
what I mean? And it's
He
kind of
needed.
weird.
He needed.
Yeah, it's kind of weird that it just seemed like you getting married just for that. But that's another story for another day, man. You know
And the
what I mean?
chick looked like his ex.
Yeah,
Was
it was Rosario.
yeah.
You might as well just stay with Rosario.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It was always some rumors about, about Corey and all that stuff.
Yeah,
But
Murph.
you know what I mean? Former North mayor. I mean, politically, man, I always liked him. I always liked how he talked and his message that he put out there. It was always mixed reviews on how he did in North as a mayor.
Yeah,
But I thought he put some eyes and money in North pocket that the previous administrations it couldn't do. You know what I mean? So I thought he did. I thought he served his purpose.
yeah.
So
Maybe
yeah,
next pod we'll get into that with P. P like to get on his soapbox about the political stuff.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Talk about if Cory Booker is going to be a strong enough candidate for that Democratic Party. You know what I mean? He might not be strong enough. You know what I mean? But we'll see. You know
We'll
what I
see.
mean? Other than that, you know what I mean? It was a pleasure to be on today. I enjoyed the conversation. I hope y'all all enjoy it as well. Like I said before, please just give us a chance with these, after y'all see these clips, just tune in for the rest of the show, man. We out here giving out this content for y'all and we appreciate y'all. Like, subscribe, share. We're on Apple Podcasts, we're on Spotify, we're on YouTube, we're on IG, we're on TikTok, Facebook. You know what I mean? Take your time to check out our different pages. Like I said, if you like it, hit the like button. If you want to subscribe, subscribe. And off until next time, we'll see you when we see you.
Word.